wish jellyfish were so pretty. It's cool how they just float along, just going with the flow.
That might be awesome for jellyfish, but Christians need a backbone. Have you ever seen a jellyfish? I'm Zach, and you're tuned in to listener-supported Keys for Kids. Jellyfish float in the ocean by opening and closing their bodies sort of like an umbrella. God made them with no backbone, so when a current in the water comes their way, they just go with the flow. Believers in Jesus need a backbone, though, so we don't become jellyfish Christians. You know, the kind of Christian who goes along with whatever is being said, even if we know it doesn't agree with the Bible. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14 says, "Then we will no longer be tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching." Now let's listen to our story for today. It's called Going with the Flow. "Look at those jellyfish," exclaimed Jude. "They look like tiny parachutes." He leaned forward, watching the silky-looking jellyfish that were floating in one of the tanks at the aquarium. Ashlynn nudged her way closer. "Wow," she cried. "Look at the colors. Pink, white, blue, yellow, green, purple, and even some striped ones." Dad was looking at the sign next to the popular exhibit. "When out of the water," he read out loud, "jellyfish look like a glob of jelly dripping from a spoon. Jellyfish are invertebrates. They have no backbone and no central brain." Jude came over to look at the sign. "It says they float by opening and closing their bodies like an umbrella. They hardly move unless a current comes along." That evening, the kids talked about the things they liked best of all at the aquarium. "Those jellyfish were so pretty," said Ashlynn. "It's cool how they just float along, going with the flow of the current." "It is cool how God created jellyfish to move that way, isn't it?" said Dad. "But it's important to remember that He didn't create us to be like that." "What do you mean?" asked Ashlynn. "Sometimes we just want to go along with what's going on around us," replied Dad. "We go with the flow and don't think for ourselves." "Oh," Ashlynn bit her lip. "Kind of like what I did when Brielle and Rachel were over yesterday?" Dad raised his eyebrows. "Really? What did you do?" "Brielle and Rachel were making fun of Naomi, and I just went along with it and laughed at whatever they said." Ashlynn sighed. "Brielle and Rachel are really popular at school, and lately they've been wanting to hang out with me, so I didn't want to—" Her voice trailed off. Dad gave a sympathetic nod. "We all do things like that sometimes, which is why we need to remember that God didn't make us like jellyfish with no backbone. Because we trust in Jesus, God has made us His children and given us the power to love others and do what's right. When those around us do things that are hurtful and wrong, we don't have to go along with them. Instead, we can trust God to help us love others the way He does and stand up for them." So what about you? Do you hold true to what is right? Do you defend those who are treated unkindly, even when it means standing up to your friends? Or do you just go with the flow? God didn't make you to be like a jellyfish. He gave you both a backbone and a brain. And if you know Jesus, you also have the power to obey Him and show His love to others. Trust Him to fill you with His boldness to do what is right, even when it's hard. Our key verse is found in Titus chapter 2, verse 12.
God's grace teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives.
And our key thought for today: stand for what is right. Hey, thanks for taking the time to listen to Keys for Kids today. I'm Zach. I'll catch you right back here tomorrow.